Call regular council meeting to order February the 20th, 2025. Any additions to the agenda? Let it show that there's no additions to the agenda. Any citizen comments? Let it show there'll be no citizen comments. Brings us to Stafford County Communication. That's
Yeah, that'd be me. I was actually hoping Bryce Garner was gonna be here. The commissioners are asking me to see if the cities would be willing to start helping pay a little bit for dispatch services a year, which they are requesting about $5,000 a year. So, just because of technology and everything else has went up in price, and trying to keep competitive wages and stay on top of things, it's just getting harder, so.
So
I mean, it's not a requirement, they're just asking, so.
have they changed the budget at all? I mean, is it just
No,
come
we
down
actually
to?
just separated it from the sheriff's budget.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't add anything, didn't up taxes or anything like that, it just separated the dispatch budget from the sheriff's office when they separated us out.
Okay.
Well, it's a service we
Right.
need, and we want them to have resources to be able to do the job.
Absolutely.
I don't know where,
I don't see the problem with us sharing some responsibilities financially for the service. I think it would, I mean, for all the things that you've said and they've said would be really beneficial for both, so.
if you're gonna have a police department, I can't see how you can do it without. a
Right.
Well, and it's not just law enforcement either, I mean, we dispatch fire, the city guys, you know, whatever, so. It's just, things are a lot busier, and like I said, the technology is getting more and more expensive, because it's just, I mean, it's gotten a lot better, I can say that, but it is a lot more expensive too, so.
so where, if we decide to do that, where would that come from?
That I don't know, because, you know, police department is in the general fund, and as I say, the general fund is pretty tight as far as budget goes. I will have to do a little digging to see what we can move around.
Not having 3 full-time officers, has that helped with the police budget to have enough room for this year to be able to pay it?
It does, but also the overtime for the 2 officers to be out on duty, you see the increase in overtime, so that's kind of made
Eating
up
up
for
a lot of
not having the 3rd officer.
Okay.
So I mean, it can be done, it's gonna take some moving money around, and when it comes to general fund, I get a little iffy, because it's just, the budget's tight, so.
Well, if you can look into it and see what you could find here and there, we can bring it back next meeting, and then look at it from there, from whatever that you find out.
Does it have to be $5,000?
No, like I said, it's just a suggestion, and, you know, they're just asking for help in it, so.
Okay.
City of Stafford is paying $5,000,
Okay.
City of Maxville.
I mean, we can,
They
when
were
we
looking
do
at less.
budget for next year, we can account for that and
Right.
see what we can come up with, but like this year, it might not be the whole $5,000, but I'm sure we can do something,
Right.
so.
Yeah, I'd make a motion to move Stafford County Communications dispatch fund, or however you want to call it, to old business, so that we can.
Oh,
Gina, you wanna finish what you're saying there?
Oh, just that, I don't know what Maxville had decided on, I just know theirs wasn't as much, cause obviously, you know, they don't have as much to dispatch for, so. But yeah, Stafford's doing 5,000, and Maxville, I think they were looking at more like 1,000, cause they have very minimal calls over there, so.
Sure. Do you need a second on that motion?
yes,
I'll
please.
second that motion.
Got a motion by Aaron, here a second by Mark Bryant. Any more discussion on it? you're gonna look into it and get back with,
Yeah, I think it just gives us a chance to look at what budget it would come from and stuff
Right.
before we make an actual motion.
Absolutely.
all in favor? All opposed, passes 4-0. Let it show that Aaron Raines is not here. Anything else, Gina?
Nope, that was it.
Thank you.
Moving on.
Thank you very much.
Stafford County Development.
Yep.
Ron?
Yes. So, had some further discussion on the resolution, wording Danny and I to what would work for the city in terms of the rural business development grant, which is gonna focus on doing a master plan of the downtown area, like the square area. And so there's, while he's passing that out.
Yeah, I tweaked them a little bit.
He tweaked them a little bit, so while he passed that out, I have a gift for you guys. We got these books last year. We did a lunch and learn, couple of lunch and learns at Ida Long Library. And it's 13 ways to kill your community. And it just talks about, things that, cities do to continue to make their cities worse. And so it's a good book. I have a bunch of these, so I thought instead of doing another book club thing like we did last year, I'll donate the books to the city councils so they can read them if you want to.
Sure.
If you're not a reader, you can find videos online on YouTube, so feel free. Here.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, sure.
Danny, what is the difference between A and B?
So on both of these are fairly similar. What I've added to what Ryan brought us on both of them in paragraph 1, I add the sentence that all documents must be approved by the city prior to their submission. A says that the city's authorizing Ryan to administer the grant if it's awarded on behalf of the city. What I added on B is that it's authorized, the city's authorizing Ryan to administer the grant in conjunction with a designated representative of the city, and that all bids, invoices, and other documents be approved by the city of St. John. I may be being overly cautious on my end, but if the city's the entity that's applying for the grant and potentially on the hook if something goes sideways with it, I would like the city to be involved, or I think the city should be involved throughout the process with it as far as.
So you prefer the wording in B?
I like B better. Now, I don't know how much extra work that creates for Pam or whoever the representative of the city is.
Does Ryan need to be named? I assume
Yeah.
you're in it for the long haul, but you put in your 2 weeks next week. We have to update our resolution because it says you, not just the executive director.
And I thought about that driving up, looking at the application online. The two things that need to be in the resolution with the city authorizing someone to apply for the grant and then designating somebody to administer it.
They have to be named in the resolution.
That's,
Okay.
well, and it says,
Yeah, which is probably not a big deal. If that were to be the case, the next person we just
well, it
have a
wants,
resolution.
and we need to update this anyways, because it wants the name and title of the person.
Mhm.
So probably need to update that to
It gives the title in paragraph 1.
paragraph 1, so.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be any fee to get it started to the city?
No, it's a reimbursable grant, so we would do the project and we would pay for it out of EcoDevo, and then they would pay us back for whatever work was paid for, so. So there wouldn't be any money that actually would flow into the city account, and we wouldn't see any money until it was reimbursed, so.
One question I did have for Ryan, talking about this on the reimbursement is, this resolution doesn't address it, but if the grant's for 30,000 and the cost ends up being 40,000, who's eating that extra cost? Who's responsible for that?
And I don't think that it's not gonna exceed, it's gonna be like a $50,000 grant. I don't see it exceeding that at all, so.
with that.
So then the city eat the cost?
Well, I think that needs to be clarified on where that's at.
Can that be something that gets clarified if and when the grant gets approved? Cause this basically right now is just so that we can apply for it.
Right.
So if we start to get quotes from the consultants that we bring in, and it seems like it has a chance of going over, maybe that's something we need to address at that point.
Yeah, and that's part of some of the extra language in B too, asking that the bids, invoices, and other documents be approved by the city. So if we know what the cap is on the gap or on the grant,
Sure.
then
Since it says Ryan Russell, Executive Director, so it gives him his title in paragraph 1, does it need to be repeated every time? Through paragraph 2 and 3, or once it's stated once, is that enough?
I think stating it once
Okay.
identifies his
So there's
position
not
and
an
title.
edit to B that you see is needed?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's low risk, and as long as, I mean, I think our representative of the city is probably gonna be Pam, so if she's comfortable with that, then
That's fine.
I'd make a motion to pass resolution number 2025-05, authorizing Stafford County EcoDevo to apply and administer the USDA Rural Business Development Grant for the downtown master plan in
Second.
version B.
So we're just, starting the process and then.
Yeah,
seeing-
this allows them to apply for the grant, and we can
And
see where it
here's,
goes from there.
here's one that just has a sticky note on it. Mark which one.
Yeah, as Aaron stated, we could always go back and revisit it at that time, as you said, so.
And it's not doing any physical work, we're creating a master plan, so ultimately,
It's up to
gives
you
us-
guys to
it
implement
gives
the
us a
plan.
guide, it gives us,
Yep.
if we come back and we create the master plan, just cause something's in the master plan, it would still have to come to council if someone was gonna come and demolish a building or renovate a building or however. The master plan just gives a guide, so to me, we're not doing anything to physically change, we're just gonna have some consultants come in and give us an idea of what we can do as a city to make it better.
Mhm.
And if it comes back and we say, no, we don't wanna do that now, then we still have the authority to do that.
We've got a motion on the table by Aaron Gleason,
I'll second that motion.
and we got a second by Mark Bryant. Any more discussion from council? With no further discussion, we'll put it to the vote. All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0. Resolution number 2025-05.
Version B.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I, as usual, I have an open door policy, so if you ever have questions about anything, projects or anything, you can knock on my door. My cell phone is very public. You can call me anytime you want, text me, whatever, so feel free, all right? Thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it.
Moving on, Cody with Midwest Energy reached out and talked to me night before last, or no, it was Monday night, I think, when we had had to be canceled for the snow. He's here tonight, he wants to talk to the council about a couple of the 3 different things. But this time, Cody, it's yours.
Yeah, so my name's Cody Zeman. I'm field service rep here out of the Great Bend District of Midwest Energy. There's some cards if you guys want to pass them around. So I'm just really here to get the word out that Midwest Energy, the Great Bend Division, is looking to expand to come down and put a full 4-man line crew running out of St. John. You know, we understand you guys have your municipal and everything, but I mean, we feed all the, have all the rural areas around you here. So instead of the windshield time that, the guys, we go all the way down to Arlington, all the way over down to Maxville. So we just thought it'd be smart to have somebody a little closer down in this area. So really just wanted to get that out. The other card you might have there would be Brett Albert. He's the ops manager out of the Great Bend office as well. He couldn't make it tonight, he had engagements, but, really, I just want to explain real quick, we're looking to either lease, rent, a piece of property here in town that could house 2 big trucks. So we'd have a digger truck and a bucket truck, and then we'd have a foreman pickup as well. The specifications on that, it would have to be, the door would have to be at least 12 foot tall, for our trucks to get in and out. Of course, we'd like to have area for material, you know, poles. So it'd be a pretty large lot and building. If anything's available, I mean, ask around. I mean, we'll look at anything really. I mean, if we can make it work, we'll try to make it work. But if it doesn't, then we'll just have to keep looking. So that's kind of a temporary fix. Like, so what we'd be doing is if we get something in stone to where we have a lease in place, right? We'd probably try to get the crew hired, because we have a couple guys that are interested to already come down this way from Great Bend. But there could be a couple openings, job openings as well for a couple lineman positions. So we have to know that we're going to have those people down here, you know, before we can sign on the dotted line that, you know, to sign a contract on a building or whatnot. So that'd be the short term. Long term, we'd probably end up building a building either in town or somewhere right outside of town to you know, accommodate what we really need. So
You have an idea of like roughly how large of a shed and then how large of a lot you would make for
man, it really is going to vary. I mean, bigger the better.
Sure.
I mean,
Well,
but
yeah.
really, we're probably looking at like a 60 by 80, something like that.
Okay.
And like I said, the overhead door would have to be at least 12 foot tall. You know, that's for our bigger trucks. Area to put our material. We got material that needs to be inside, you know, stored inside. And then we'd have to have a lot big enough for, we'd probably have 200-300 poles, you know, to have in stock down here as well. So it'd take a pretty big area, to be honest with you.
Sure.
And shed, for that matter.
Sure.
So just wanted to get the word out. If anybody knows of any leads or, you know, anybody's interested, like I said, even if it's something we can come down and look at, if we look at it and say this ain't gonna work, then we'll just move on and, you know, try to find something else. So that's definitely in the cards. We're definitely looking hard. So we're
So
gonna
if
try
you're-
really hard to have.
You're looking
that.
for a lease in a property. What's your timeline as for hiring and then actually getting something on site?
Honestly, we don't really have a timeline,
Sure.
to be honest with you. We're adding on 3 crews throughout the Great Bend division, and it was either put 2 extra crews. We already got 1 crew started, an extra crew in Kinsley. We were gonna add 2 more right in Great Bend, but we got to thinking and had a little round discussion, and it was just determined, well,
Makes sense,
let's
something
come
crazy.
this way because we have a ton of work down here, storms,
Mhm.
you know, it just makes sense. So timeline, I can't tell you.
Sure.
I don't know for sure. It just kind of depends on if we can find a building. If we can't find a building, you know, we buy a piece of ground, build a building, we might be looking at a year out, you know.
Yeah.
It just really depends. So that's really all I had, guys. I just wanted to get the word out. And if you guys know anybody, my number or Brett, either one could answer any questions. So,
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank
so
you very
yeah,
much.
You bet.
Yep.
Thank you.
Cody.
Yep.
Moving on, consent agenda. Entertain a motion to approve minutes, regular council meeting February the 4th, 2025.
Make a motion to approve regular council meeting minutes February 4th, 2025.
Got a motion on the table by Mark Bryant. Here a second.
Second.
Second by Aaron Gleason. All in favor? Passes 4-0. All opposed? I'm sorry. I'd entertain a motion for appropriation ordinance 021825 AP for $55,956.24.
Make a motion to approve appropriation ordinance number 021825 AP in the amount of $55,956.24.
Got a Motion on the table by Mark Bryant, here a second.
Second.
Second by Aaron Gleason. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0. Also, we need to make a motion for EBH Engineering for $4,000, and I'm sure that's on the street. If I could have a motion?
Make a motion to approve EBH Engineering in the amount of $4,000.
Second.
Motion on the table and a second by Sarah. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0. Department heads, Curtis. Curtis has got a couple things that come in a little late, so he'll be talking about.
I'm gonna see if I can get your guys' approval on some oil for the Fairbanks they're working on down there at the plant. They're getting close to getting done to it. See how that you guys buying new oil for it, if they're shavings and millings and
Yeah.
everything else in it. And got a hold of Hample, it comes in at $1,176 per drum, and they're requesting 7 drums for a total of $8,232. And the sooner the better we can know about that, the quicker they can get it on a load.
Have you talked to the people that we bought the oil from? I know last time when we bought it for the plant, it wasn't from Hample. Is it?
I just reached out to him, it was the closest one. right away.
Okay, well, I didn't know it would be cheaper, cause we bought the oil from them last year because they were cheaper than Hample. Or is that two different kind of oil that,
I know we did fuel from a different person.
oh, maybe that's what I was thinking of, diesel.
We did S&J on diesel fuel.
Yes,
Because they were quite a bit cheaper.
do they not sell oil?
No, Scott don't sell it over there.
Okay.
That-
Bird oil would be, well, what would it call Zips, I think Zippy owns it now. Used to be Bird oil. Might be another one to reach out to.
You got time to do that, Curtis?
If they have it in stock, it'd be no big deal.
Seven barrels of oil is, and I understand that they're
Oh.
wanting mobile guard, that's what they're telling us to
Yeah.
put in that motor, and the motor's
That-
cost $300,000 roughly, guys. We gotta put new oil in it.
I got on the internet and looked at kind of roughly the price wise of it, and Hample's pretty close to the ballpark. I mean, it goes from $1,000 to $1,500. So I mean, they're not out of line by much.
I know Rotel is down to $20.
I mean, can we approve this number? And if you call somebody and it's less, you'd be approved for that amount.
And if it's less than your name on it.
And if it's not cheaper, then we're already approved to go with that amount through
You
here.
can just do up to a certain amount and then don't state the company's name, like give him the permission to purchase the oil.
Purchase the oil.
Yeah,
Let's see, is that sales tax in? Do we have to pay sales tax on that?
yes.
So does that include that?
No, I don't think so.
So you'd be,
You just go with
You'd
the
need 9,000.
10, just do 10, yeah.
I'll make some phone calls in the morning, try to get something a little cheaper. You might end up paying shipping versus them being local too, I don't know.
sure.
Buying that much oil, tell them you want a discount.
I'd make a motion to, allow Curtis to, purchase oil for the Fairbanks, engine at the power plant up to $10,000.
Second.
Got a motion on the table by Kyle, second by Aaron.
Sure.
Any more discussion? Curtis, you got any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0.
And I was gonna see if I can get approval to buy basically 3 rolls of polypipe from Miller Plastic for an underground project outside of town for the Port Authority. At $1.65 per foot. For a total of 9,000 feet.
And you got a total on that, please?
Looks like $14,850.
How big a poly pipe is it?
2 inch.
2 inch? Is that plenty big to run the wire?
Yeah, that's for what size we need to run. it'd be easier to put the underground in out there versus buying poles at $1,000 a piece and replace them for a half mile overhead. That if a ice storm or tornado comes through, you're replacing them. We just don't have this in stock, so underground, put it in once and hopefully done with it for a lifetime.
Pam, is there money in that electric department for that?
There's plenty in the distribution fund for, that we save aside for something like this, so.
So which company are you getting into?
The mill of plastic for the poly pipe, the other stuff's some other bids, we'll get to that here in a second.
Okay. Okay, so that bid isn't actually in our package?
No,
Okay,
that was just a verbal bid
okay.
from King Miller.
Is that 14,850? That's before tax.
Yes.
So you need 16.
Yeah, just in case up to 60.
Is 16 enough for tax?
If not, then it will fall within his under, like his spending limits, so he should be fine.
This is for the Port Authority, isn't it?
Yes.
Do we know, I mean, I know a lot of work has gone into that, but is that 100% happening? It's,
With the electrical engineer out of Wichita that's doing the project, he said it is a done deal.
okay.
I heard two different sides of it, and so I called him up, and he said, no, it's a done deal.
Well, I know they put a lot of work in it. I just, I've heard stories around town of like the ethanol plant that was a done deal. Big sign was up, and then never happened, and never happened, and never happened. So I wouldn't want to dump
Yeah.
thousands of
I
dollars
understand.
into taking electrical out there without, and then
Which we need electrical anyway, because we're speeding on through, we had customers on the other side of that.
okay.
We're just, where the trains are gonna come through, we're going underground.
Gotcha.
We don't have to mess with the wire, clearance of the wire and all that, so.
I'd make a motion to purchase 2-inch poly pipe for underground electric, not to exceed $16,000.
Second?
Got a motion on the table by Aaron Gleason, a second by Kyle Bunker to buy the poly pipe. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0. By buying poly pipe. Anything else, Curtis?
Yes, I'd like your council's permission to purchase, one spool of number 2 underground primary from Westco at a price of $9,500. That's 2,700 feet. Stanley's bid was cheaper, but it's only 2,000 foot roll. That's one of the bids you got. And Westco should be another one on it.
Why do we only need 2,700 feet and 9,000 feet
I got
of
some
poly?
other underground.
Oh, for the poly. Gotcha.
That's what I need to finish it up.
Need 11,000 for that then.
Yeah, I don't remember how much tax was on the last couple of years.
I'll make a motion to purchase number 2 primary strand cable for 2,700 feet of it for no more than $11,000.
Got a motion on the table by Aaron Gleason. I hear a second.
Second.
Second by Mark Bryant. Any more discussion from council? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0.
Are you done spending
You're on a
money?
roll, Curtis.
Say,
This
you
next,
done
this next
spending
one ain't
money?
bad price. This is up to you guys too. Ronnie Moore did get back with us on another bid, and his price is to trench that in for us. I'll just give it to you. It's about $2,000 for us to rent a trencher for a week. Night rental, for example. So I reached out to Ronnie Moore. He finally got back with us. His price is 65 cents per foot on non-frosted ground, that doesn't have a big hard frost line in it, or 70 cents per foot for frosted ground. He thinks he can do it in about 4 hours. And it's $225 for a guy to run the trencher and $200 for truck fuel and to haul the trencher down there. And looking at $23.75 to $25.25 to do the job, or like I said, or we can rent it and put fuel in it and everything.
Would we need to rent for a full week?
It's about $2,000. Just we rented before. I'm just going off of past what it
Gotcha.
costs us. Since we don't have a trencher, we can backhoe it, but it'll take a while.
Yeah.
But all we gotta do is throw the pipe in behind him and he can backfill it, and if he can get it done in 4 to 6 hours, be great.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't make sense to me to rent, if a renting costs $2,000 and he's gonna do it for $2,500 even.
I mean, we rented enough equipment the last couple of years that we probably could pay for a trencher, a used one, so. But there's times that you need it to use.
Yeah.
Well, it's starting to do more and more underground, it probably ain't a bad idea, and you can use it in the parks and stuff like that too, so. Something maybe we look at down the road.
Put it in our city plan.
Actually, I have something I want to present later on, so.
Council, gang, discussion on what's the best way to do it?
If somebody that has their own insurance to do it and it's only a couple $100 more, by the time we pay for diesel and our guys' labor, it's cheaper to have it done. That's the way I look at it. So do you need, you got a
So
range
on the
for
high
yourself.
end, 25,
But that's before tax
that's
too.
before tax, so.
So do you want 3,500 in case it takes
Yeah.
8 hours?
Do that.
I'll make a motion, to hire more oil field to trench and backfill the underground conduit, for the Port Authority project, to not exceed $3,500.
Got a motion on the table. Here a second.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on the table. Motion by Aaron Gleason, second by Kyle Bunker. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0.
But maybe try to put it off for a little bit, see if the ground will thaw out, but 5 cents a foot, I don't know what that comes out to be. 3,000 feet. $1,500. I think that might be all the good news I have for you. There was another bid in there, but it was pretty astronomical, so we didn't talk about it, so.
You might tell council what it is.
It was through PNS, and that was for them to trench it and install poly pipe, which is 26, and that's not counting our wire or anything.
But that was for the poly though.
Right.
So,
That's him purchasing poly, so I mean, it's more than that, so.
right, so we just spent 16 and 3,500. So we spent 19,500 instead of 26,500.
Good information for the council.
Yep.
I mean, I don't mind doing the work ourselves as long as we can get the equipment at a reasonable price. So.
Yep.
It's a good experience for the guys too, because it's gonna be, in the future, it's gonna be underground.
Any more discussion on the, Curtis, you got anything, council got anything for Curtis?
Yeah.
Anything else, Curtis?
Nope, I think that's all the good news I got for you guys.
Thank you.
I think that's about enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
For the time being. Jason is homesick, I guess he's pretty sick, Pam said, so he won't have anything. Police Chief, Tori.
I don't have much. I won't ask for any money since Curtis is
No, no more money left now.
Different budget.
We actually did save money, so the flock quote was $500 cheaper than what you guys approved, so I mean, that's good news. And then Mike did, it's not for sure yet, but they're pretty sure that we're gonna get the money for the radios, so we shouldn't have to pay for them. But I guess he can tell you more about it. I don't know much about radios, but they've been working with Ryan and he found the state's gonna pay for them, I guess?
Yeah, so he contacted Jerry Moran's office, and I think they've been getting a lot of people contacting saying, hey, this is an unfunded mandate, so I think they're gonna end up paying for all the radios for the entire county. It won't be till the spring of next year. And we're also working on siren grant, so St. John might be getting a new siren, storm siren. We'll be getting rid of all the other sirens and just putting one centrally located, big enough to cover the whole town. I think it's kind of off topic, but sirens in St. John are from the 70s, so we've been having problems with some of them. That's the newest one.
That's really all I had, just kind of an update on the radio, and then I was happy to see that our invoice was cheaper than what they quoted us, because that usually doesn't happen.
Council, got any questions for Corey? Or
Corey?
Tori?
I assume the renewal, the yearly fee is what was quoted though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think what they did is, for some reason, when I looked at the one-time fee, like the implement fee, it was cheaper for some reason. So I don't know, maybe they just quoted as high to make sure, and then he told me, he's like, yeah, I must have miscalculated, it's cheaper, so.
Anybody else? Have anything else? Tori? Mike, fire department? Nothing? Pam, you're under the gun. We can't spend no more money.
I usually don't spend money, it's other people that I have to tell them not to. Do you guys have anything regarding my report?
I really do like those reports. I think they come out really well.
Yeah, I didn't know what you guys' thoughts are as far as the code violation. You know, it's so cold during this time. There's not much that's going on, so I didn't know if you guys would be okay with me skipping checking it till maybe spring.
And you could probably skip March. I mean, we're gonna be warm next week, and then we might have to
Yeah.
a cold snap, but
Yeah.
I'd say just
maybe
April
April
1st.
get back to it.
Okay.
Give everybody a bit of time.
Sure.
Yeah, it's hard to do anything
Right.
right now.
Yep. Other than that, I don't really have anything. I mean, I've kind of detailed it since I was gonna be gone, but it's got moved, so yeah. I don't have anything.
Just a note for you. I've talked with several people who have moved out of town, and some are in town still, and they're excited for Jubilee because of the carnival, and they're saying, I got to get back to see St. John and the Jubilee
good.
again. So it's just really nice to hear that from people. So I thought you'd like to hear that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any council have anything else for Pam?
Nope.
Moving on, city attorney, Danny.
Yeah, one more resolution for you guys, the house at 208 North Nutting. This would be the one. Where Pam would explain to you what's wrong with it, and then we send out notice and set it for a public hearing, and I think April 15th would be the council meeting that would give us enough time to get the publication, the notices sent out.
Trying to picture which house it is.
Yeah.
It's Samples, old house, Samples, David Samples
Oh,
on
over
Nutting.
here?
Yeah,
Right
on
south
Nutting.
of Tucker's.
Oh, okay. I thought that sold.
I think it did. It did. The new owner had been notified, but I haven't heard anything back from the new owner. Yeah, I can't remember. It's,
I talked to him today. It's
Yeah.
Clayton Road, Arnold.
there you go.
He bought it.
Maybe just correct me.
He's aware. His response was kind of just like everybody others. It's been cold. When I talked to him, I couldn't remember exactly what the violation was. Is it maybe some
The
siding?
the siding was really rotten off. And I think it's just the siding because the window seems to be in good condition. On the north side, it looks like it's newer windows put in, but the siding's really in poor condition. When we first sent out the first letter, he reached out and we came up with a plan, and then nothing had happened. And I, obviously sent out a second letter, and then I texted him, and nothing. I didn't get a response, so I just kind of let it be, just to go on through the process. Maybe if the official letter coming from the city instead of just me reaching out might set a fire in him,
Right.
but I haven't got any response. So until obviously Kyle talked to him yesterday. So,
And this is one, the title search showed there's a mortgage on the property too, so we'll send a notice to the company that has the mortgage as well.
we could wait on this resolutions as well, since we're gonna wait to check on the property again until spring. So I don't think there's time limits on these.
No.
So,
I think after talking to him, my suggestion would just be maybe a phone call to him just to remind him of what the violation is, and then just give the same time we're kind of letting everybody else, maybe to mid-April, or at least till it warms up, especially with that, I don't know, siding, or if he's gonna paint it, I don't know what what he's thinking, but before we pass this would be mine. It's just been, especially the last month, it's been hard to do
Yeah,
anything.
it's been a pretty cool winter.
And then I say we just hold on to this, and then if we need to pass it in April, then we sure can.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think that's probably a pretty fair way to do it.
Yeah, the Google Street View looked like the siding in front was pretty rough, and that was from 12 years ago.
Yeah, and it is, it needs, yeah.
It needs some attention.
I think he did a lot of clean out on the inside of it, too.
You okay with that, Danny?
Yeah, that's fine by me.
You have anything else?
Not until the executive session at the end. That'll cover everything that I have.
Okay. Old business, Fifth Street Road, White Food Liner, any discussion there, any updates?
I put it on my report that Danny and Joel met with the Smith, and the location that they originally thought might not have worked for the Smith. So I think Joe will cover it in the executive session some more about it.
Okay.
But Joel was able to make it work to where the Smith wanted it, so there shouldn't be a problem there. Also, the fountain, I put in my report as well that that guy, he's willing to come down and look at it to see what he can do to help. But I didn't know if you guys want to dump any more money into the fountain. Do you want to give it one last try, or what do you want to? Which direction are we heading?
Is he coming
Is he
down to
coming?
look at it
Yes.
and just give
Yep.
ideas?
Yep, he wants to come down because it's not his full-time job, it's his hobby, it sounded like. And if it's too big of a job, then he does know a company that solely deal with fountain,
Like iron
that
fountains.
that he can refer us to. But I told him well, please come look at it to see what you think. But I need to get council's opinions on whether to repair it or replace it. So
I think we can hear him out.
Yeah.
We should get his opinion, and
yeah,
if
he was
refers us.
supposed to come down when the weather hit, so
Yeah.
we'll have to reschedule.
Where is
a
he
date.
from?
He lives in Barber County. He's
Okay.
he does some blacksmithing. He's got some kind of martial arts gym. He's a part-time sheriff's deputy, so he does a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
But
And apparently, and that's the guy that we're supposed to talk to about the water. Too.
no, I
Or
I,
this is
I don't
somebody
think
different.
that's the same person.
Oh, I thought it was
you-
the same person. I
Okay.
thought you said
No.
McGarry. I misread your text.
That,
Sorry
well, I might have mistyped
about
it.
that.
I don't think he does anything with water.
Okay, because there was, is that what your report said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I thought it was the same guy because I think your text. Now I understand that you were when we were talking about that water guy. He thought of this guy.
Yeah.
My bad.
So we don't have anybody to come.
So
in.
yeah,
Of all
he's
trades.
not quite as talented as you initially thought.
Just blacksmithing martial arts.
I mean, I guess he can take a dab at water too.
So we don't have anybody to look at the fountain?
He'll
no,
be
no.
here.
No, but
Yeah,
there was a
he'll be
different
here.
name that,
McNally is the guy for the water. This guy, what's his name? This guy.
It's McNally's his last name.
But I thought the water guy's also McNally.
the water guy's name was Pat, wasn't it?
Pat McCoon.
Pipe.
Pat.
You're thinking, did you have his first name? Because maybe you're thinking Pake is his first name, and then the other guy, his name's Pat.
Mm.
Yeah, the other guy's name is Pat, right?
Pat
McNally's first
McCoon's
name.
water guy.
Yeah,
Pat.
McCoon. Yeah.
McCoon.
I don't
McCoon and
remember.
Pink
Lord.
I
McNally.
don't remember either.
My bad on that one.
Okay. One more on the fountain. Okay, under new business, I reached out after we got the grant for, paying the nitrate plant off, and I took it upon myself to call GM5, which is Orland Farrell. And I was told there's a water well out here straight west of my house, which is on West Street, probably most of you know where I live, that supposedly when it was drilled, it's supposed to be in very good quality of water. And that's only about 3/8 of a mile from well number 6, which is a high nitrate well. And I talked to Orrin and asked him what the chances were that we might sample that water and see what kind of quality of water it is out there. And he was really acceptable and wanted to set up a meeting with Jeff Latterman to talk about it. And he said, we've never looked at it, we don't know what it is, so some testing is gonna have to be done. And I brought it to you because I've got a meeting set up with Orrin, but it was supposed to be in today, but the snow done away with that. But anyway, I'll get it set up probably a week or two or something. But the first stage is to run a pipe in that well that's there and pump it and see what the nitrates are.
Who owns the well? Is it Fairchild?
Belongs to GM5.
Oh, it's theirs.
It's their well, or they bought the water rights from Kirk Fairchild.
Okay.
I talked to Kirk Fairchild, he said he didn't have a problem with anything that we done on his side. The well is right on
It's on
the property line, pretty much, 15 foot off of it. But I talked to Ned Marks, and I would like to have him there. We go in and test that existing well, providing GM5 says this is a good deal to do, or they'll allow us to do that, and get a sample of what the original water is coming out of there. If it's low nitrates, then we might want to pursue putting a well field around that if we can make that work. We got two property owners, Kirk Fairchild and Arnold Weber is on the south side. And with the conversation being said, I said, I've got to take this to council before I can make any rash decisions here, and that's what I'm doing now. I'm telling you what a game plan that I have thought up and putting together here to try to figure out some good nitrate water. That would be a lot better if we can find good water and run down and trade some water rights out and transfer a bad well that's high nitrates to GM5 and use that well. We'll have to put in a well field, of course, if it's good. But the initial test has got to be done before we can move any further.
Yeah,
And in the process, talking to Orland, he said, Bob, he says, if you can get that, the city's on board with it, he says, I think we can probably come up with some money, maybe help you. We'll do some testing, being that it's Millware well, because we need to know what kind of water's there too. And I talked to Ned, and he said he would be accompanied to help do it, and it looks like total cost on it to test that well is gonna be about $5,000. And it's up to council, if I can pursue this, get a meeting together, a couple of you wanna sit in on a meeting, you're welcome to do that whenever I figure out when it's gonna be. But I think it'll be coming up in a week or so, and I think it's a doable deal, the way they come across to me. And I talked to Kyle a little bit about it, but they were in favorable. If it's good water, I think we can probably do some trading.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think we should
I'm
test it.
all for that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Can that money can that come out of the water fund?
Mhm.
Cause it wouldn't take a lot to get it down to well 6,
No.
and then we'd be
Which
right
is
hooked
blending
in.
right
It
now.
might be a possibility, and I don't mean to build anything up here, might be a possibility that we could blend some water, get good water to plant, and just shut that plant clear down.
Right.
Don't even need it,
I think that's,
if it's good water, but like I say, I don't think it is, I don't know. Nobody knows, nobody's tested it. Me and Kevin tried to test that well when we put the plant in, and there was no way to get any water up out of it, because the pump wouldn't run. And the only way we're gonna be able to do that is get a rig in there, put a front stem pipe in it, and airflow it out, and take some samples.
Yeah.
And that's about 5,000, that's just a ballpark figure, that's close, 5,000. Rig's $3,000 probably.
do you need a motion to do that?
I would wait until the meeting and,
And then get a better price?
yep,
If a couple of you wanted to go to that meeting, I'll get you guys in loop when I get it set up. I'll try to call Aaron, Orland tomorrow. He may be tied up next week, I don't know. But, and I don't even know where the meeting might be. Probably Stafford at his office, I'm guessing.
I wouldn't mind going if I'm around, but just let me know when it is.
I'll let you know what it is. Kyle, you interested, or Sarah, or
Yeah, I mean,
anybody?
Sure.
trying to
I'll
make sure.
I'll just tell Pam, and she can send you guys all.
Good.
Okay, it can't. it
Yeah,
should-
just
It'll be
make,
two.
just make
Yeah,
sure we
two-
don't all
two
do
is all we
Yeah.
need.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I think we can get by with 2, okay, isn't that right?
Or we can just make it a public meeting.
true.
But I didn't wanna,
Instead of
and
public
Orland
meeting.
said this same thing, he said, I said, I don't wanna take this public until I've talked to the council, and I can't do anything till I talk to council.
Yeah.
And we had the meeting set up for this today, but of course that wouldn't work.
Yep.
So
You can
this is
set
not
it.
public, this is,
You can
it
set
is
it
now,
for
because we talked about it.
the next council meeting if you want to, so all of them can be here.
We could do that,
The next council
if
meeting
if
is
they
March
wanna
4th.
do that. I mean, I don't wanna muddy any water there, if we got a chance to working with them. I don't know, I've heard stories, they're kinda hard to work with, I don't know,
The water district?
the GM5.
I always have good luck with them. Yeah.
They acted real on board.
So it could potentially not change anything with our
Right.
water, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so
Right.
I don't know why. I don't know. I guess they own, if
They own the
it,
well.
then, but surely we could just do some
You know,
sort
we
of
may have
swap if
to-
it's good water.
We'll have to plug a well, if we decide to move on and put a well
Yeah,
structure up. I suppose it'll be 3 or 4 wells. We'll have to do some test well at some point in time. But if the water's no good out in that one well, we get tests and it's running 17 or 20 parts per million, we're just
yeah,
go to game 2
Yep.
for plan B.
Yeah, but that's the path of least resistance. We should try it out.
Yeah,
Yep,
let's
that's
go for
what
it.
I thought.
The worst thing that can happen is you
Yeah.
spend $5,000 and then
Throw
you know,
$5,000 down the hole.
and then you say we need to go with the
Yeah.
$1.8 million. Right? You know, I mean, that's I mean, you're talking. I think that's a way better solution. So
That's all.
yeah.
yep.
Okay.
I'd entertain a
Quote for the
quote
concrete.
for the EVH for comprehensive plan, anything on that?
Yeah, so this is what I got back from Joel as far as our strategic planning for our infrastructures. If we do, obviously, like I said, we can go more in depth, but that come with a pretty price tag. So this will get us by as far as what our comprehensive plan would need as far as like what needs to be, you know, look at first, second, third, or whatever. I didn't think it was our line to have to just, you know, touch the surface, and then maybe we can later on, if we need to update the plan, maybe we can, you know, like just this part and go in a little deeper, let's say street. So just pay for that portion, but this would cover everything that we need to know for now, as far as what we need goes.
So what are we trying to get out by doing this? What is our goal?
So they're coming out, they're looking all about infrastructure, and then they would help establish of, okay, here's what your current condition of your streets, and here's what we suggest you fix in the next 5 year, or like, and then like they would tell us what's wrong with it, and then we can prioritize what we wanted to fix, like within the time frame that we set, basically. Their advice would be like a professional advice, you know, that instead of like our guys, not saying that our guy's not experienced, but I feel like he would be like in like the specialist of like, you know, infrastructures, instead of like Jason just know maybe the basics to fix it, but not the preventatives or that kind of thing. So, and also with this though, when they're looking at everything, they're also would create a map for us as far as like all of our infrastructure goes, because our maps are pretty old, and obviously there are some area that we have done some work to it, and that those maps need to be updated, and we can't even find some of the sewer map that we needed the last time Joe was down here talking to Jason. So with this work, that would also give us a newer, updated map of our infrastructures, if just in case we need it for
future reference.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just think they're gonna tell us our water lines are old, our sewer lines are
Pretty
old,
much,
and
yeah.
it's gonna cost
Yeah.
millions of dollars to upgrade all that.
Yeah.
Is what I'm afraid of, and we
And,
already know that.
Right. And if you guys want to, like, let's say in the next 5 years, the street is gonna be our main focus, and then we can come up with like a plan. Okay, this year we're gonna focus on curb and gutter. Next year we're gonna do, I don't know, pave this road or whatever. We can do that ourselves, but I just thought that professional opinions, you know, might be good, but like you said, there's that, we already know what our problems are, but there might be a deeper problem that I don't have expertise to, you know, when I look at it to see, oh, that's a major problem than curb and gutter. So.
I just wanna ignore the problems.
You and me both.
Until they're staring us in the face.
You and me both. But, and that's fine too, if you guys are not interested in this. Like I said, we know what our problems are. I can just put the known problems that we're facing in our plan and just move on. And then obviously the plan is needed to be updated every so often, you know, every 5 years, every 10 years, however you guys want to look at it. And then we'll just keep updating it and go from there.
I mean, I can see some of maybe the mapping being updated could be, you know, maybe beneficial just to reference.
Sure.
I just feel like we're gonna spend $15,000 for this and not get a lot of good out of it.
Sure.
Or we're not gonna like what they maybe have to say.
You're definitely not gonna like what they have you to
And I
say.
mean, like the sewer, you know, did we get all the sewer lines cameraed when we did that? So we
Yes.
have
We cameraed the
footage
whole town.
of the whole town,
Yes.
and then I don't know what percentage we went and relined.
Not just the major
The major
violation
problems.
that we encounter, but there still are a lot more that we need to line.
Sure.
Yeah.
But we went and did 2 rounds and picked where the worst spots are, and I know there's still other spots
Yes.
that aren't great, but
Yes.
we do have that information of, we can kind of pinpoint where the
Yes.
bad areas are because we still would have that camera footage.
Right. And we can even put that in the plan as every 10 years we do a camera of our sewer line, you know, because it deteriorated by then. So that could be one of our plan that we added to it without having to.
That company we worked with their analysis was good. They were able to tell us, these are your worst spot, you know, and work with Jason to get it.
Right.
And then I felt like we made some headway there on some issues, but
Sure.
it's just never, I mean,
Seems to me like every time we do something with EVA, that might have been my experience, we get something started like this, and 5 years from now, it's gonna double, and they're gonna expect you to do the same thing again.
yeah.
I went through that with the water plant.
Yeah.
Just kinda like what we do with, the cameras. You buy a camera here, and 2 years down the road, you gotta redo a deal, or do a new update, or something to do with another $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever. Kinda like the radios in the sheriff's office. It's awful good that they get money to do that, that's for us. But it seems like we just done that, I don't know, 15 years ago, and they're outdated.
Yeah.
That's just food for thought. I think Mark can probably vouch for what I'm saying.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Every time you do something like our electric meters, we just got done having to update that system at the tune of what, $9,000, 10? On our
Oh,
electric,
yeah, I
reading
mean,
electric meters?
but that's technologies, you
Oh, I
know,
realize
you
that,
always
but these
have to
little towns,
update it,
they're
yeah.
in trouble with that.
While it is technology, I mean, Bob's right, it seems to be every time we do something, and then the next time it's
Yeah.
doubled, or it's gone up in price, you know, almost to that point, I mean, but you're right too, I mean, it's technology, and technology costs money, so.
Yeah, and we cannot not have it, you know, cause then
Right.
we'll be left behind,
Right.
so.
Well, we'd have to hire somebody else to go out and read meters as a full-time job, and
Yeah.
that's gonna cost you
Right.
$50,000 a year in
Yeah.
salary and benefits.
I agree.
Yeah, no, with what we got right now, we can do without, but I just bring an option in for you, so.
Anybody wanna make a motion or any more discussion? Moving on. I'd entertain a motion for a 5-minute executive session to discuss, acquisition of real property.
I'd make a motion
Who do you
to
want, Dan,
everybody on the table.
council,
Yeah,
Clerk?
just everyone at the table should be
everybody
good.
at the table?
I'll make a motion to enter a 5-minute executive session to discuss the acquisition of real property to return at 8:07.
Got a motion on the table by Kyle Gleason,
Second.
or Aaron Gleason, second by Mark Bryant, all in favor? All opposed? We'll going out of regular council meeting to executive session, be back in at 8:00. Call, regular council meeting back to order from the executive session. Is there any more business?
I'd make a motion to purchase at the price discussed during executive session to acquire the easement at the two properties discussed during executive session.
Got a motion on the table by Aaron Gleason. Any more discussion? Or second by Mark Bryan. Any more discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Passes 4-0. Council meeting,
And this back.
I entertain a motion to adjourn. If anyone, you got anything else to talk about?
I'd make a motion to adjourn regular council meeting February 20th, 2025.
Got a motion on the table here, second by Aaron Gleason, second by Mark Bryant. All in favor? All opposed? Show that 2 of them, 4, and the other 2 didn't want to.
Oh, I'm
don't want it.
I'm focused on what you need back.
Council meeting's done.